Today we jump into Mega Man 2, which to many people is the best Mega Man game. I don't agree. It's a fantastic game. We'll watch the intro together. It's a fantastic intro. Mega Man 2 is really when Mega Man came on the scene and really made it big. And I think it's a fantastic game. I think Mega Man 3 is the better game, but I think Mega Man 2 is certainly special in its own way. So the beginning section here just explains the story. Wily in the first Mega Man game reprograms robots he created with Dr. Light. In this one, he's created his own robots, which are of a more devious variety, as opposed to being reprogramming kind of general robots, which is what Mega Man 1 was all about. So here in the West, we have two difficulty settings. I'll go with difficult, which is the normal difficulty setting, really. And we have places that we can begin. I'm going to go to Metal Man stage first, and the reason is that Metal Man is beatable with the Mega Buster, although I might need to use a E-Tank, we'll see, depending on the condition I am when I get there. But more importantly, his Metal Blade is just beastly. It's just a beastly weapon. It's like the most overpowered weapon in Mega Man history by a mile. And you're gonna see what I mean when I get it. It's even so powerful that it can kill Metal Man himself in 1 or 2 hits. Like his own weapon, which I love. I love that little Easter egg. So here, these like little corn kernel type things come up, and my whole technique here is to just keep moving. No time to dilly-dally. They're gonna do some damage to you, and that's fine. But there's just no reason to dilly-dally there. Just go right through. You could use the flash stopper if you beat Flashman already, the time stopper, I should say. But we don't have it yet. You could also use other weapons to make it easier, but there's just no need. So we're moving and we're cruising these guys. These clown type characters are gonna come on their little tires. We're gonna kill them. Oof, I can't believe I got hit by that. That's embarrassing. So let's get through this guy here. Extra life. Let me go into Metal Man a little hurt in here, I think. Now you can get that E-Tank. You don't really need it, even though you might use one here to fight Metal Man just to get through him. It's a trap unless you have item 2, which you don't, to get out of there. This jump is long, so you want to be really careful with it. Oh, jeez. So we're at a Metal Man stage. He's probably going to kill me. I'll let him kill me, and then we'll fight him straight up. But fighting him this first time will show you one of the cool things about him, which is that he won't really attack you unless you attack him, which I think is really funny programming too. So if I just sit here, he's not going to attack me. But once I start shooting, he'll start attacking. So he killed me there. It's fine, doesn't really matter. And some people use the technique of trying to stay near him because he'll keep jumping if you stay near him, which is like kind of the technique you use on BUBBLEMAN and Mega Man 1, but that's not really, I don't know, I don't really get off and fight him like that, but I can show you how that's done, which is that. But it just kind of like leaves you open, I think, to attack and bumping into him, which does a lot of damage. So I'll use an A-Tank here just to, so we don't have to do this again. We'll get plenty more. You can only carry 4, and we will have 4 in Wily's Castle. Plus we can get them in CRASHMAN stage and other places, so not a huge deal. Alright, so that's Metal Man. We're gonna get the Metal Blade now. The Metal Blade is just super useful. It gives us a lot of different options, a lot of different directions we can go from here. We can go to BUBBLEMAN, we can go to Woodman, we can go to Flashman. I mean, those are kind of the places we can use Metal Blades on, and I think we'll probably just knock all 3 of those out. I guess I'm gonna go to BUBBLEMAN first, kind of get over with. So if you watched our Mega Man 1 Let's Play, you will have heard me during Iceman stage when we entered an underwater area that the buoyancy of the stage wasn't changed. Mega Man felt the same underwater. That changes drastically in Mega Man 2. And even though it starts above water, we're going to be in the water soon, and you're going to see that the buoyancy increases, and this is used to great detriment against Mega Man throughout the rest of the series, really, not only in this game. These blocks will disappear or fall, so if you don't move quickly enough, you see, so you want to just keep moving. Here you can do that, but then the enemies are going to lose their shell. So if you play the game on normal difficulty, like normal, easy difficulty, those will die in one hit. The guys in Metal Man stage that shot apart and then came back together and you had to kill them again, they will also just die in one shot. So the difficulty does materially change the game. Here we'll go to Metal Blades, fight these big fish enemies. And what you want to do is kind of just nail this thing on top of his head. And you can see now, like Mega Man, I don't want to show you too much because I'll probably jump into the spikes, but Mega Man, you have to like really meter your jumps here. And as you can see, I'm using Metal Blades, which by the way can be shot in 8 different directions, which makes them even more useful. Alright, so we can jump up here. We're almost to the end of the stage already. Just have to get through a few more parts. A couple more parts now. Oop. Okay. We are almost through. Now you can try to kind of fish them out a little bit. Yeah. These are placed so that they like interrupt your jumps basically. So you just need to be really patient. And then there's none here. So now we're going to go back underwater and we're going to fight BUBBLEMAN. Use the Metal Blades. And BUBBLEMAN's a chump. He just fights in the same style over and over again. And you just can take him out really quickly, especially with the blades. And because you can just shoot upwards, you just put him away. So with this, we'll get the Bubble Lead or the Bubble Lead, depending on who you are and how you want to pronounce it. I called it Bubble Lead for most of my life, and then I started calling it Bubble Lead just the last few years because I've heard some people that know the series very well calling it that, but I don't really know. I think I still feel like it's Bubble Lead, but it doesn't really matter. Call it whatever you want. All right, so with that, we have some options here. I'm going to go and take care of FlashMan now, because we have the Metal Blades eventually to get through these guys that we can just kind of clown out pretty quickly. Fantastic music on FlashMan stage, by the way. Please enjoy it with me. And you slide, by the way, on this stage if you stop moving. And the stage is a bit of a labyrinth. You need crash bombs to really be able to explore it fully. We don't have them. Those red barriers can only be destroyed with crash bombs. And we also don't have what we need to really fight these like ATST-like enemies. So we're just going to keep moving. You can use the air shooter on them from Airman if you have them. But we don't. And that's okay. But what we can use here are the Metal Blades on these squiggly little enemies. And then we'll switch back to the pea shooter to fight this guy. Grab the health, which we won't need. I'm gonna get through there. All right, so we're almost to the end of the stage already. This requires some slick jumping up here, but if you do it right, you can get an E-tank. And you want to just kind of I shouldn't have stopped there. So we're not gonna get that E-tank. We don't really need it, but could have used it. Not a prerequisite. And you can use the crash bombs to get on the other side if you had them. So Flashman uses a weapon that is quite ubiquitous in Mega Man later. Brightman uses the same weapon. Centaur Man uses the same weapon. It's a time stopper. But he's the one that introduces it so he can freeze time. And you really want to try to put him away before he even uses it if you can. And it looks like I might, yeah. So he'll eventually, Flashman's whole thing is he's going to try to stay on top of you. And you just stay still and he's just going to keep running into you. He has no pattern other than that. But eventually he'll stop, freeze time regardless of where you are, and then start shooting at you as well. So he has multiple weapons, kind of multiple ways to damage you. Dr. Light's going to hook us up with an item 3, which is not a super useful item, but we're going to use it a lot in Wily's Castle. And these, unfortunately, they learned later in the Mega Man series, these screens can't be skipped and they take for fucking ever in Mega Man 2. They kind of remedy that situation later on. So from here, we can go in multiple directions. We have the Flash Stopper now, so we can go fight QUICKMAN if we wanted to. I'm actually going to go in a different direction, and we'll take care of Woodman right now, since we can use the Metal Blades. You can also use Atomic Fire on Woodman if you want to fight Heatman first, but not really necessary. Woodman stage is very cool, though. I like Woodman stage a lot. And some more great music. So here, I mean, you can basically just keep the Metal Blades quick the entire time if you want. If you let these like robotic jackrabbits stay around too much, as you just saw before, they'll shoot carrots at you. If you move quickly, you can just get through these guys without fighting them. Here, these robotic dogs are introduced. Metal Blades will take care of them quickly. You gotta kind of be a little bit careful, though. He does look like Rush, but he's not. So don't fear. Don't worry about it, because it's not Rush. He's not. Rush hasn't been built yet in Mega Man lore. Perfect. Sometimes you just get a serendipitous drop like that. Oh, the hammering. Yeah, someone's hammering again. I don't know what's going on with that. Ding, 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 ding. All right. Now these guys you can just kill quickly before they even make themselves a nuisance if you don't kill these. There you go. These monkey creatures, they'll jump up and attack you. Shit. That was bad. So we're almost to the end of the stage already. Just a couple more parts to get through. Why do I jump? You move quicker. And it's just, it's, you know, it's just how I roll, Kevin. It looks more stylish that way, doesn't it? Wouldn't you say? Kevin doesn't care. All right, so here's the thing. These enemies will come at you, and if you duck away from them, they'll jump over you. And then we are at Woodman's level. Now again, you can use Atomic Fire on him. He uses a thing called the Leaf Shield. That's a bit of a pain in the ass. You can, let's see if I can do it actually. I'll see if I can show you. The Leaf Shield can be penetrated. But it's not really gonna happen. Ooh, this time I jump. Get one more cycle here. There we go, and Woodman's done. And we get the Leaf Shield, which is a super useless weapon, but it'll be useful against Airman, who we'll go to next. Kind of get him out of the way, then we'll go to CRASHMAN, and then that will leave us with like QUICKMAN and Heatman to deal with. Airman stage is a pain in the ass. It's probably the hardest stage in the game outside of Wily's Castle. Definitely not friendly for newcomers. It's a place, especially if you're playing on normal, you can actually start here pretty reasonably, but I don't do that when I'm playing on difficult. So these things, the longer you stay on them, the more these things will come out of their ears and attack you. So you want to like not stay on them if you can help it. And then here, you can attack these guys with your Mega Buster, which is fine, but as usual, the Metal Blades will make quicker work of them. Plus, you can shoot them in multiple directions, which is going to be useful for one of them. Another great soundtrack. The music's just so good. So see, you can shoot them diagonally there. Kind of cut through them, and then here you can just shoot them up. And again. And we run. These birds from Woodman stage will make a return here. You can kind of just anticipate them. Especially in the clouds, kind of covering them up. Here you can just avoid these guys, you don't really even need to mess with them. And then we'll cruise through the second half of the stage, which is similar, but now instead of jumping from platform to these things, you're jumping from one of these things to these things. And so you need to jump over and kind of activate them. And you want to try to sync up these, like their little things here. And getting hit intentionally, like I just did there, is a good way to just go. Ooh, that was close. And then here we'll use the blades again, since the birds will be coming shortly after these guys. Oof. Man. Just dropping them out of nowhere. Alright. So you kind of want to just take it easy here. Let them come to you. No need to really rush. No, I just got 2 extra lives there. Alright. And so here we're going to fight him in 2 different ways. We'll fight him with the pea shooter, and then when he jumps towards us, we'll use the leaf shield and put him away. So I'll show you what I mean. So he'll use his air shooter and call up a bunch of tornadoes that you can try to avoid if you can. Some of them are easier to avoid than others. Like I should be able to avoid them there. Oh, oh. And then he'll come over here, and when he does, we'll just there, like that. And that's it. So that's Airman. His weapon's pretty useless too. They're good against those AT-ST like walker enemies that we're going to encounter, like we encountered on Flashman stage though, and also good on CRASHMAN, and we'll go fight him next. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I'm trying to. Let me think how I want to do this. You know what? Let's go fight Heatman. Let's go fight Heatman. Just get him out of the way. I'm sick of looking at his stupid fucking Zippo lighter face. Yes, we're equipped. We got the equipment. Yes, let's go on. The fucking game. I like that design, though. Heatman's design is awesome, that he's just a lighter. It's like one of the more unique designs in Mega Man. Alright. This stage can be a little bit rough. But once you get item 2 by beating Airman, you can basically just kind of cheat your way through it. And I'll show you what I mean. Because this stage is home to the disappearing block puzzle from hell. And is like really hard to do. You can do it. It's doable, for sure, but you don't have to. And this isn't it, in case you're curious. Alright, so here we can start going to like metal blades. So you can see if we had crash bombs here, we can actually go through some of these barriers, but we don't really need them. All right, so this is where we're going to cheat. And it's not really cheating, it lets you do it. Using item 2, which is basically the precursor to Rush Jet, this disappearing block puzzle ahead of us, we can just skip. Because it's insane, like, look how long it is. So we just don't do it. And then since we have the air shooter, we can just deal with this guy like that, and then we'll go to bubble lead / lead to fight airman or heat man rather. So far, so good. All right, so that's Heat Man done with. Little son of a bitch. And so now this leaves us 2 options from here. We can go to CRASHMAN and we can go to QUICKMAN. Go take care of CRASHMAN now. Get those Crash Bomber, and then we'll go to QUICKMAN last. And QUICKMAN stage is a famous Mega Man stage. This will be item 1, which is going to be the last item. That will get these are like disappearing platforms. There's really only one place in the game you have to use them. In Wily's Castle. Otherwise, they're pretty useless. So CRASHMAN also has great music. And the metal blades here will be quite useful. So we can switch back to the pea shooter now. And so here, we're going to have to go through a series of these kind of like roving things. And here you could use item 1 if you want, but I mean, it's not really necessary. Use the metal blades to kind of do away with these guys. There can be up to 3 of those enemies on screen at once. And sometimes the best option is to just leave them alone, so they don't respawn right on top of you. As you can see here, we like leave them alone until, just like let them come right on top of you. All right. All right, so we're almost to where we need to be. So here, switch back to the pea shooter to fight this vertical enemy that we saw in METALMAN stage. Always hits me. There we go. And we'll climb up. We'll turn to night after we get through this next couple of screens. You can see some of the genetics of like BUBBLEMAN stage on this screen on this stage, which I like. And then here, you don't have to do this, but I just do this because it just makes it a little bit easier. Just use Flash Stopper. And like work your way through this as quickly as you can to just give yourself a little bit of a buffer between these obnoxious bird enemies. And these are glitched out, so they're going to keep dropping them to the side. They're not going to explode, actually, which is quite useful. And then so here, you can do a little trick where you can use item 2 to grab the E-tank and then use it as a platform to get back up, and then use it as a platform to get to this ladder. Once you climb up this ladder, you can then use metal blades to attack the enemies that are going to land on top of the ladder. Grab the extra life. And And then we're through. And so CRASHMAN we should be able to beat pretty easily, pretty quickly. He's a really tough enemy if you don't have the air shooter. And that's it. CRASHMAN's done. So that leaves one more enemy, QUICKMAN. And the QUICKMAN stage, of course, is, I think, famous in video games, and so we'll see why that is in a minute. It's very hard. And QUICKMAN was like my favorite back when I was really young. He's so cool. Then Mega Man 3 came out. Mega Man ended up being my boy. We haven't showed off item 3, so I'll do that for you real quick. You can use it here. Item 3 is like a wall crawler. You can use it there. So we'll use the metal blades early on in QUICKMAN's stage to eliminate these enemies. That's pretty poor showing. Okay, now this is where things get hairy. Really hairy. And this is only the beginning. Here we go. Gotta keep moving. Here you can collect an E-Tank. And then we're halfway through. And then here, you actually have to know at some point to jump up. Alright, and here's where things get really fucking crazy. Boy, I actually think I was a little slow there. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, whew. Alright, we're through. We made it. So use the air shooter to get rid of those guys we did before. Ah. Alright. Oh, shit. That sucks. I might have taken a lethal amount of damage there. Alright, let's see what we can do. I'm going to show you a little trick. The trick here is that FlashMan can't do any you can't do any damage to FlashMan's weapon, but you can. QUICKMAN is so quick that using it on him will just damage him. And then we can switch over to crash bombs. Oh, it's gonna be really close. Oh, he got me. The other option too, so the crash bombs can be used in multiple ways. If you can attach him to a wall and let him go into the explosion, it actually does massive damage to him, but it's hard to do. So but if you don't hit him directly with it, then you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. Because you can't shoot another one until it explodes. And you can see that the pea shooter actually does a decent amount of damage to him. He's just really fast. So that's the end of QUICKMAN. Now all 8 enemies are defeated. And this allows us to move on to Wily's Castle with its iconic music and iconic look, and iconic enemies as well. So we'll get the quick boomerangs, which are super useful against multiple enemies. All right, let Wily introduce himself in his classic way with his eyebrows. So here we go, rocking. So you'll want to kind of equip the blades here. And so here we're going to use item 3. As I was telling you before, there's parts where you're going to really need to use it. This is one of them. And then we'll go back to Metal Blades. I mean, you're going to be switching a lot in Wily's Castle between things. And the other thing that you need to keep in mind in Wily's Castle is that your weapon energy no longer replenishes in between stages, so you need to keep very careful eye on that and replenish it as you go, or you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Here you can do a kind of cool slick thing like jump down and just shoot them. And then use item 3 again here if you want. And we can grab the extra life. And you can make this jump. It's hard. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. No. So we'll work our way back up. So here you want to like kind of get through. All right, and then again, keep an eye on the weapon energy. Item 3, you're gonna need it later. So keep it fresh. Then we begin our climb upwards. This is the only part in the game where you have to use item 1. So we'll introduce it to you. I go to the side here. And at this point, you can equip quick boomerangs, and we'll use them in a minute. You don't have to use them with these guys. You can if you want, but you don't have to. And so we're almost to the final boss. It's a tough boss if you don't know what you're doing. And so here the idea is to just kind of keep moving. Because he's going to spawn right behind you. And so my technique here is to get on the top and just start hammering him, letting him hit me, and then using my invincibility to try to kind of nail him. And he's going to probably hit me again, and you fall back, and then you just put him away. So that's one enemy down in Wily's Castle. Again, being ever cognizant of your weapon energy. Go ahead and fill up. Switch over to Metal Blades since the enemies here are going to be a pain in the ass. They'll spawn around top of you. And then here, we'll just fill up one of you, we really don't need it again. And then we'll use number 2, item 2 here. Skip the first ladder that you encounter and go to the second one. That way you can get an E-tank. And then you can get an extra life. And then fill up. You'll need the number 2 again, or item 2 rather, later. And then if you want to get crazy with it, you might as well. How many E-tanks do we have? Yeah, so here, just use crash bombs to eliminate this wall. And then grab the E-tank. Hard right. So you're going to fall into the spikes. Here, you're going to want to use Flash Stopper. If you don't, as you remember on METALMAN stage, these things will come out of the walls and the ceiling. So you can just get right through them. Actually, we can go right over to item 3 here. I kind of can't help but feel like these presses that you see in METALMAN stage and you see here were inspired by Castlevania. That's my assumption. Could be wrong. We drop down. We're almost to the boss. If you want, you can actually go to the right here and use item 2. So here, you can use BUBBLEMAN's weapon or Metal Blades. BUBBLEMAN's weapon actually, I think, does more damage, but I prefer to just use Metal Blades, so it's easier to use. And so that's the end of the wall enemy. And we continue to cruise through Wily's castle. Okay. So we're going to go down, and again, we have to be cognizant of the weapon energy that we're using if we want. Now, you can get E-tanks here, and like you can just do whatever you want, but not worth using the crash bombs. Should have been a little smarter there, because I'm going to need to use item 1 now here. This is like the only enemy in the game that is like not impervious to the metal blades. All right, so the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to refill crash bombs. We're going to need them later. Then we want to use item 2 to jump over here, where we can refill metal blades, since we're just spamming the shit out of them everywhere and we don't want to run out of them. We drop down. These robotic fish will jump out of the water here, as you'll see. Oh wow, I wonder if they're not going to pop out at all. Typically these, yeah, they're there. And then this drop here is like a really difficult drop, probably the hardest drop in Mega Man. Any of them. Gotta be very, very careful. There we go. Whew. Did it. And then we continue on. We are underwater, so again we have a great buoyancy here. Move a little slower. And then here we're going to use quick boomerangs again on the Guts Dozer, which is the next enemy based on Gutsman for Mega Man 1. Make very quick work out of him. And he is finished. And we continue our cruise through Wily's castle. All right, so again, let's be cognizant of what we've used and what we need. We could use the flash stopper later on QUICKMAN, so we might as well start filling that up. Okay, we are nearing the end of the game, but we have just a little bit more to go. So the thing about this area is that a lot of these blocks are actually invisible, like that you can actually jump through them. I'll show you. See? So you need to be like super careful. Yeah. And then there's more invisible platforms up there, so just to skip the whole drama, just use item 2. Gonna get knocked back down. Nope. Cool. All right. So we're cruising, and we don't need an E-tank. We can't carry any more of them anyway. And now shit's gonna get a little hectic with some more of these puzzles, like we saw back in CRASHMAN Station. But this time, there's spikes underneath, and you'll die instantly if you touch them. So I'm just gonna make the jump. Here we're gonna have to be a little more patient, a little more strategic. You're going to need to jump onto this platform and then wait for it to come back around. And then jump up. Oh, what? I don't know why I even did that. Typically you should wait. Be more patient than that, Kevin. Be more patient than that. That was stupid. That was a silly move. That was silly move. Now we have to sit here and do it again. I paid the price.
We all
You have to learn somehow. That was a stupid death. I don't know why I did that. I can never do that. I'll tell you the parts of the game where I usually die, and that's not one of them. Or where I can die, typically die. All right. We're getting back to where we were. We just got to get through this part again. Now here you can get a little clever. You can use item 1 or item 3 to kind of expedite the process, unless you're speedrunning the game, which I'm not. There's no really reason to do that. All right, so here we were before when we died. Patience is a virtue. See if we can get all the way through without killing anything else. Nope. This one's a little crazy, so you need to use item 2 here. It's simpler than it looks, because you can't ride on the top or you get knocked off. So you need to just use the platform. Yes, it's harder than it looks, not easier than it looks. Is that what I said?
Simpler.
Simpler. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. All right, so let's switch back to the air shooter here. Oop, that button is in such a terrible place. And then we will deal with this clown. Damn it.
How tall is Megaman?
I think he's supposed to be like 4'4" or something like that.
So those guys are really short.
Yeah, Sniper Joes.
They look really cool.
God damn it. Respawn them. Nah, I'm screwed here. Just gotta get through. Alright, so there's 2 ways to go about fighting this enemy, and unfortunately I'm gonna have to use an E-Tank here. There's 6 platforms. Or 6 enemies, and in other words, the only way you can kill these enemies is with crash bombs. But there's only enough crash bombs to destroy the barriers you have to destroy. And the enemies. If you use any more than that, you're screwed. You're gonna have to die and start again. And you have to keep moving. These things will shoot at you, as you see there. And so we'll use Crash Bomb here. And we'll use one there. And then I need to hit the start button and use my E-Tank. It's unfortunate that I have to use an E-Tank already, because I might need them later. And then we use the wall crawler. Damn it. Come on. There we go. And then here, this is the toughest one. You have to use, kind of use the number item 1 here, and then hit the button, crash bombs, done. So in other words, you can't destroy those 3 barriers. Now there's a way to do it if I want to make it easier on you, is that you can start the battle, use the crash bombs on all the barriers, get rid of them, they'll stay permanently gone when you come back. You kill yourself, refill your crash bombs, then come back and just slice through the enemies, but there's really no reason to do that if you're just a little more strategic about it. So that's basically the gamut of bosses, apart from Wily. Of course, in great Mega Man tradition, we are going to have to fight all the bosses again. So we will do that now. So we'll fight Heatman first. Use the bubble light again. Airman. Again, we can just use a pea shooter. Oh, that's a bad group of tornadoes for me. That's another one. Okay, so here we want to be a little more clever if we can. Ooh. Fuck. I'm screwed here. I screwed that one up. There we go. Trying to get a little too cute here. I was trying not to kill him standing on that, because if you kill him and stand on that, you disappear out of the stage and you don't get the health, which is a problem. Now here I could use Atomic Fire if I wanted, but let's try it. You can charge Atomic Fire. But unless you do it full blast, it's not going to do much to him. Oh, shit. Making this a lot harder than I have to for me, myself, Kevin. BUBBLEMAN, knock his ass out again. QUICKMAN. Now we filled it up before, so we might as well do it. CRASHMAN, so again we'll use the air shooter here. Remember to jump, get him to jump. Fight METALMAN, again METALMAN won't attack you unless you attack him. And remember that his weapon is actually his weakness. Watch, if I can connect with it. See, it does half damage, kills him. And then FlashMan is the final barrier here. And he's done. Yeah. So here it's going to be a little difficult because I'm almost out of blades here. And you can use other things like Atomic Fire if you wanted, etc., but you don't really have to. Fuck. So you have like kind of multiple options here. I'm just going to continue with the Buster, especially because I have 3 E-tanks. It's not the ideal, but it'll do. So Wily disappears and he's not quite dead yet. We're gonna have to fight him one more time. Classic showdown. I love this part. No music, and you just drop. It's so cool. Those drops do a lot of damage, so you just want to be patient here. And so the only weapon that you can really use on him is Bubble Lead. Or Bubble Lead. Wily's alien form. But there's more to the story, of course, than meets the eye. Damn, not getting off to a good start here. There we go. Oof, jeez. E-tank just to be careful. See if I can get hit one more time. Just one more hit. Do the trick. And that's it. Then we'll watch the ending. course, Wily wasn't really an alien. He made a machine that he's using now, and he'll beg for forgiveness as he usually does, because he's a bitch. Someone pointed out to me a while ago, and how it's so cool, the glass globe above it is distorting the picture behind it. It's like a really cool touch. I never really paid much attention to that. I find this ending to be super sad and somber, too. I have no idea why. It's just the music.